Hello and welcome. Priestess Kitiwe here. Let's just set the tone, set the energy. I feel like I'm giving recess vibes with this hat on. Millennials, comment below if you know the show I'm talking about. But I am going to channel this today. I do feel connected strongly to going into like organic codes, organic creation versus inorganic. That feels like where we're going to start, but let's see where the journey takes us. And I've kind of had this be talked about today twice. One from somebody I was receiving a service from, because she always asks me about my work. She's always very intrigued. And then also a client conversation. And as I was tuning into my heart and what the message wanted to be for this video, I saw the tree of life, which is a symbol for organic creation, organic structure, organic templates and coding, meaning the true way, right? In the image of God, in the image of the divine, like how humans are meant to exist and be created and live. This could speak to a structure, a system, a paradigm, a life form, a manifestation, right? Organic versus inorganic. And a lot of what we see in our world currently is inorganic or anti-life based creations and matter. And yeah, let's see where we go with this. This is kind of a high level conversation, depending on who you ask. And basically, like all the work that I do, right? When someone comes to me, whether it's through something small that I create and put out there, a masterclass, something, you can just kind of consume in your own time, or whether you're in like a long-term space with me where I'm, one-to-one working with you over weeks and months. Um, all that I do is based in organic creation codes. That is all that I do. Um, that is what you will get from me, right? So anything that is built on false structures, false belief systems, false paradigms, false premises, ego, shadow, all of that falls under like the inorganic banner. And only truth, only organic forms, structure, manifestations, realities can be birthed through you when you are in my world, right? For a long enough time. And so in that, it can be a little bit shaky and feel very new and very different because, again, we are not used to in this embodiment, in this go around on earth at this time, living in a fully organic state, right? Where everything that we interact with is organically built. And the interesting thing about that is the inorganic and the organic can often look the exact same on the outside, right? If you don't have the eyes to see and the discernment to tell the difference, you can confuse an inorganic structure or system or manifestation with an organic one. A lot of the times, like symbols, right? Symbols and sigils and talismans and things of that nature are quite easy to talk about this with. So this is what I mean. Like the pentagram, right? The pentagram has 5 points on it, right? And because our world is so built on inorganic structures, and that's all we're kind of used to, organic is very rare. Truly organic is very rare. Um, if you see a pentagram, most people go, "Oh my God, devil. That's the devil. Oh my gosh, stay away." Right? Whereas the pentagram, in the organic sense, in the true sense, simply means it's an elemental figure, right? It's a figure of creation. It's belonged to the earth and sacred feminine for a very long time. So if you just kind of glanced at that, you might go, "Oh, that's devil worship." No, you're either talking about the earth or you're talking about the Son of God, right? If you're looking through the organic lens, if somebody has created something from the intention, from the desire, from the space of the heart and truth in an organic way, right? Again, it can look the exact same, but the dark will almost always take organic symbols of creation, and flip them and reverse them, right? And use them for anti-life, use them for destruction, use them for power control. All the things that we are very used to seeing on this planet, right? So if you look at something and it is meant to power somebody, like have power over somebody else, right? If it's manipulation, if it's, parasitic, if it is extractive, if it is destructive, if it doesn't support like sovereignty, then it is made from an inorganic template, an inorganic coding, which is what most of the world is made from. Because hello, like how many systems are we seeing that are being exposed for that right now, right? The people who didn't already know this are seeing it now. All these files, all this stuff coming out in public, and has been for the last, little while, and will continue to, right? We're seeing very clearly the inorganic structures and systems. And so I guess now is the time to be very intentional and to be very discerning of what you're coming in contact with, and kind of giving yourself a little second to check in. So even when something might be presented as organic, when I say organic, I just mean like crystalline, right? Something that is of a true divine nature, form, intention, made with the highest love, made to serve all, right? Made to be of service, made to bring forth life and perpetuate life. We really have to just develop a discernment, especially now going forward, because again, the dark doesn't always come in dark clothes, right? The dark mask, like a scary visage, right? Sometimes the devil shows up in with a handsome face or with a beautiful face or with, something that smells sweet. And we have to remember that all that glitters isn't gold. And sometimes what might appear to be of the dark actually isn't, right? And AI kind of adds to this whole conversation as well, with like trying to discern what is real. How do you discern what is real, what is fake? That's a whole other can of worms, but it's part of this topic. It's part of this discussion. Like, what is real? How do we know what is real? And the only way truly, because we can't really even trust our eyes anymore. We can't even trust what we hear, because things can be made up. Things can be invented. We have to trust in here, our hearts, our discernment. So I guess that's where this conversation is going next. Yeah, the heart space is very important to bring online to enable you to discern correctly. And a lot of people have their hearts closed down, right? Because of heartbreak, right? Because your father left you when you were a child, because you've had a string of bad relationships and now you don't want to trust anyone, because you've had trauma, because people were cruel to you growing up, right? Et cetera, because the world is just going to shit, right? We have our hearts closed down. And that is such a potent and powerful place to discern truth and to receive truth and to filter out what isn't a match to that, right? Because your heart holds a very intelligent field of energy that can override these programs. It can override what is put in the collective, what they want you to think, how they want you to see things, right? Because there are programs put in our collective fields, our collective consciousness, as to like where they want your attention directed, where they want you to be, looking, so that they can steal energy, siphon energy, or do something else while your back's turned, right? the heart is one way that you can protect yourself against this, right? When you're aligned with the divine's will, when you're in touch with the sacred mother, when you're connected with God, right? In the highest, most beautiful, aligned light, love, and truth. Your heart is such a beautiful space that can help you determine what is real for you, what is not. And really, it can be as simple if you are in confusion or not sure what's real, not sure where to turn, not sure what to think, to activate your heart space, to connect to the heart space, and ask what is real. What does your heart know to be true? What is in alignment with your highest and best good? What are the truths that want to be revealed to you in this moment about whatever subject you're wondering about whatever you're focused on, right? And the more powerfully activated and turned on your heart is, the more robust the answers will be, right? The more clear you'll be, the faster. You'll be clearer faster, right? The more your heart is brought online. And so this is something that we're doing in my spaces more and more naturally with people. Like when I was, this really began for me like a heart journey. It's really began almost a year ago where I was really propelled to do so much work to expand my heart, the energetic field, the wisdom that it carries. And it's just enabled me to tap into the earth even more, to tap into God even more, to be more intuitive, more connected to myself, more powerful, right? Like a vessel for good through the heart space, to be able to hear more clearly. And I went on retreat, sacred retreat in Hawaii, in Maui, last November. And boy, that island was heart, heart, heart. And it's funny because where I went to on retreat in May of last year, you know, Glastonbury in Somerset, that area is known as like the heart chakra of the world. And when I went to Maui, I felt that same energy, right? Like the heart chakra was just so active. And every day we would get in to a meditative state and just kind of channel and see as to what the messages were, with what the guides were saying, what the island was saying, just getting pieces of where we would be led for the day and just what wanted to be brought up to heal, to clear, to transmute. Just so much was going on. We would intentionally connect, and the heart would just go off every day. Every day it would just go off. Like we would have layers released, right? There was heartbreak, from a recent breakup, from someone releasing so much. I'm trying to remember what specifically released from my heart, but I had so much releasing, so much expanding because the island required it, right? It was like there was a door that was locked and is locked to anybody who arrives there who doesn't have their heart activated to a certain level, right? You can't see past certain veils. There are certain thresholds where the island, if you go beyond, will spit you back out again. And so many people on the island would tell us that. They're like, oh, Maui will spit you out if you don't have your heart in the right place. And they would just say this like it was just, common fact. It wasn't like we were talking to only shamans or, mystical people, just the average person, Uber drivers, people working at the stores, right? Just people on the beach we met. Like we heard the same thing multiple times. Like this island will spit you out if you come with the wrong intentions, if your heart is not in the right place. And if you come with the right intentions, if your heart is in the right place, this island will welcome you, right? It will roll out the red carpet. It will treat you, as a dear one. And that was the experience that we had, because every day we activated our hearts because it was required so strongly, and yeah, it really profoundly shifted my energetic field, and ever since has allowed me to have even more experiences spiritually that I would not have had access to had my heart not been activated to the degree that it was, right? Because my heart had to be even more expanded because I was holding space for others as well, right? It wasn't just about me by myself there. I was also holding the frame, holding space for others to receive healing and activations and remembrance while we were there. And it just profoundly has shifted my life in such a big way. And I've been able to allow love in from the earth so much more profoundly ever since coming back from the Sacred Mother, so much more profoundly from, the masculine side, so much more profoundly. And it also is such a key to access records, right? I'm now able to access different libraries of information in the cosmos, soul libraries, records, things like of that nature, because my heart has been refined to a certain level. Yeah, the heart holds so much magic and is a key that unlocks so many doors of the mysteries. It's so important. It's really so important. And so this is something that's going to be, a really foundational piece of my work going forward, is to make sure that everyone's heart is brought online, right? And this, of course, there's an order to things. It's a process. It's an unfolding. But because it's something that I have dove so fully and deeply into, I'm now able to help people through it, even faster and with more precision. So that's going to be exciting to see, how that unfolds. Yeah, it's about coming out of the head and moving into the heart. And this is also what unlocks the doors to fifth dimensional lifestyles, right? Fifth dimensional experiences on earth right now, currently. Again, it's the key. The heart is the key that unlocks the door. If you don't have your heart space open enough, the fifth dimensional reality will not reveal itself to you. And again, linking it back to Maui, Maui holds Lemurian code that holds like ancient Atlantic codes, which is like a 5D framework, a 5D matrix that is kind of like overlaid on the island. And so if you have your heart connected and turned on enough, you begin to see beyond that veil, right? It's like anyone who isn't connected won't even see it. You won't see the magic. You could be looking at the exact same view that I have, but with my heart activated to that level, I can see the fifth dimensional reality. I can experience the fifth dimensional world overlay that is always there, but only if you're able and ready to receive it. And boy, did we have that experience. It was incredible, right? Like the people we met, just so welcoming, so welcoming, so giving. What do you need? Here's our number. Like, call us. Here, I'll get you this. I'll take you there. Here's a recommendation, right? It was just beautiful. And that is how life can be. That is how life can be. It's a template, it's a coding that I'm going to be sharing with all of you, those of you who are ready to receive it and want to receive it. It is a birthright, truly. It really is, to remember that aspect. So let me just see what else wants to be shared about this. And let me know in the comments what is resonating for you, what this is bringing up, what it's pinging. Yeah, the heart really is the key to heaven on earth, to a whole new reality. It's the portal, it's the key. I'm just seeing, my heart connected in this grid in this web-like structure to just so many people. And perhaps you're one of them. And this is how information can travel and bypass the, you know, the conscious mind. The heart is actually much more powerful and stronger than the conscious mind when it is activated, when it's turned on, when it's being, connected to, when you're in relationship with your heart. This is how we connect to our planet, our mother. It's how we connect to each other. It's how we connect to the animals, children, the flowers. It's such a powerful transmitter and receiving of information, of codes, of love, of course. Yeah, this year is a big year for the heart. It's a very big year for the heart. So if you're feeling called to work on that, drop some hearts below and make sure that you subscribe to this channel for more of these advanced talks. Let me know your thoughts. Like this video, leave some love, and I will talk to you soon.